Okay, I remembered it this time. So welcome this afternoon to our seminar on adding video to your Canvas class. The first question we might ask ourselves is, why? Why bother? What is it about video that's useful in my Canvas class? Well, video is a tremendous content type for online and web enhanced learning, which is we're all involved in one or the other at this point in time. Video is an exceptionally information dense content type. There's an awful lot of information in a video, and it's an extremely rich, content rich entity. There's an old saying about a picture in 1,000 words, right? Well, a video is 30 pictures a second, give or take. That's an awful lot of information in a very short period of time. There are things that you concepts that you can put across in a video that would take hours and hours of typing to put into a text document, even one that had some pictures along with it, still images along with it. You can explain things to students. You can show students how to do things. You can explore complex concepts by browsing about the web and recording that. So, and you can use video that has been created by people from institutions all over the world. I mean, from the Ivy League, for that matter. The wealth of video, recorded video, and that is available online on the internet is truly stunning. No one would ever be able to see it all. And there's a lot of it in your field coming from, in some cases, world-renowned experts in your subject matter that you can pull into your course and share with your students, usually for free. If a video is published on the web publicly, there's no impediment, legal or ethical, to you using that video in your own course. So we just need to find something out there that is appropriate and instructional and fits in with our general concept of the way we like to present information in a particular subject to our students, something that meets your needs. And being able to just drop that into Canvas is incredibly useful for you and for your students. So let's talk a little bit about how to do that. I'm going to be sharing my screen most of the day. I'm going to go ahead and start that now. So let me do, that's Zoom's superpower. So it turns Zoom into a virtual classroom. So you should now be seeing let me just go back to my Canvas dashboard here. Okay, you're seeing Canvas. Oh, and that one irritating tile there. It does a good job of calling attention to itself, but nobody can sit there and watch it for very long. I like to start with a little general information about using video in Canvas. And the first thing I'd like to cover is the general concept of how we get video into Canvas for our students to view. And the first point I want to make there is that we generally don't upload video directly to Canvas. You can do that. You can take a video file that you've got on your computer or that you've created yourself, that you've downloaded from the web, whatever, and you can simply put that into Canvas as a file. and have it uploaded to your file space in your Canvas course. Your students can click on it and view the video. The video will download to their computers generally before playing, but that, you know, if the video is not too long, that's not a terrible problem. But we strongly recommend against that for a couple of reasons. One is that, about three I can think of. First one is that Canvas is not really a video server. Again, when the student clicks on that video, it's going to have to download to their computer and start playing. And that may take quite some time for enough of the video to come down to the student to be able to play it, especially if it's a large video, more than just a few minutes of video. And the performance may not be very good. Canvas is not designed as a video server. Second reason is that you don't have that much file space in a Canvas course. You've got, by default, about 1 gigabyte of file space. One of these Zoom recordings, one of these meetings I do is several hundred megabytes, several 100 million bytes. Gigabyte is only 1,000 megabytes, so you can use a lot of space in a short time uploading video directly to Canvas. You're going to run out of space in all probability before you get enough video up there to really satisfy your needs. And finally, unless you've gone to a great deal of trouble with that video file that you've uploaded directly into Canvas, it's not going to be captioned. And that, even with our current situation, even with our current emergency, is a no-no. We've gotten no dispensation from anybody to say that we don't have to have our video accessible to students with disabilities, notably hearing impaired students who can't hear the audio. The video has to be captioned. And while you can create a video file with internal captions that play along with the video, that's a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. There are much easier ways of dealing with that if you don't actually upload the video to Canvas. So that is not a good idea. So I'm going to show you some other ways. In general, what we want to do is fix it so that there's a link of some sort in Canvas that the student can click on that will cause the video to play from some other place on the web, not from Canvas, but from YouTube or TED or Vimeo or any of the gazillion different sources of video on the web, though YouTube being by far the most common. Rather than have the video actually resident on Canvas and playing out of Canvas's web services. So that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do today, how to link your videos into Canvas in a way that is both effective and easy to navigate for your students. So we're going to start with talking about adding existing video to your course, video that you already have or that's sitting out on the web waiting for you to use. And to see how to do that, I'm just going to go into a sample or a sandbox course here that we can mess up to our heart's delight. And I'm just going to build a page in this module that we can play with in the usual fashion. Add that. This is a blank page, of course. I can go and edit it, and we can start seeing how to add video into Canvas. And really, it's pretty simple. Basically, you just need to know And now, right now we're talking about existing video that's already been made. Maybe you made it earlier, but even more likely, perhaps you found it out on the web somewhere, and you want to provide a way for your students in your Canvas class to access that video. And there's just a number of ways to do that in Canvas. One way is to just put in a simple hyperlink or a simple link to a URL that contains a video out on the web. So I can just make a simple video link. I'll just call this video link. It would obviously be named, it would be called something else in your course, but this is kind of generic. And I can highlight that video link, and I can just click this link to URL button here. And all I have to have in order to make this link for the students is the web address, the Uniform Resource Locator, URL, or just the web address of a video. So let's go find a video out on the web here somewhere. There are lots of different places we might find that, but by far the most common is YouTube. So I can go to YouTube, and I guarantee you there are videos on here, good and bad, in any subject you can imagine. Somebody give me a subject. Get a little audience participation here. Something suitable for family consumption would be preferable.
Architecture.
Architecture, great.
Dave, what about 5G?
I'm sorry?
What about 5G?
Okay, well, we got architecture in first. We'll try that in a minute.
Okay.
And I even spelled architecture correctly, apparently. What are the odds of that? Oh, there's nothing like live video. Okay, well, wow. There's a lot of stuff here. I'm just going to pick one at random, not being an architect, but I do love Frank Lloyd Wright. So let's click on that. And of course, we get a little introductory message here. No, thank you. I don't want to sign a contract right now in the middle of a class. So this looks to be a 55-minute video. This is one of those videos that would just tear up your, if you tried to load it directly into Canvas, it would just tear up your file space. So great. So how do we get the URL for the video? Well, one way to do it is just to go to the address line in your browser, and that will show you what the web address is that you're using right now. But with YouTube, there's actually a little bit more efficient way of doing that. We can go in a YouTube video to the share button down here below and to the right of the video. And let me move this over a little bit for people who may be on a smartphone and have a video up in the upper right-hand corner, or an image up in the upper right-hand corner. And this is the so-called share URL for the video. They'll both work, either the one up here or the one here will work. You'll notice there's a lot of similarity. The little code is the same in both cases, but this will cause a little bit less trouble from time to time. So it's better to use the so-called share URL for YouTube. And you can copy that to your clipboard just by clicking this copy button here. And now we can go back to Canvas and we can just paste that URL right into the URL box in Canvas and click Insert Link. In the case of YouTube alone, Canvas will recognize immediately that that is a video URL, and it will produce a little placeholder here, which if I save this to see what the students will see, actually shows up as a little sort of a, we call that a video embed, where instead of just a simple link, though we get the simple link too, we also get this little graphic, which is a little bit more inviting, has a little bit, has a frame from the video displayed, and has a play button. So the student can just click right on that and the video will pop right up. Frank Lloyd Wright and the Guggenheim, and then they get a play button out of YouTube and they can go ahead and play it. They can also full screen it so that it's bigger and easier to see, or they can even go to YouTube and play it there. So, gee, that's, I mean, that's all you'd have to know to put video into Canvas. So, what was that? 29 minutes. That's pretty good. Well, a few other things we can talk about today, but if you know that much, you can put video into your Canvas course so that your students can view it. And that's generally the way you would do it. Create a Canvas page, embed the video into the page, link or embed the video into the page, and make the page accessible to your students by putting a link to it in a module. And that's all you really have to know. We can make it look a little sexier. The rest of the session today will pretty much be mainly concerned with that. But this is what you actually need to know at minimum to get video, and that's already existing video in your course. And this didn't have to be a YouTube video. That link could be to any other video site on the web, as long as you had that video URL from your web, from your web browser, the location line or address line on your web browser. It might not look quite this sexy, but you'd probably, in some cases, you just get the text anchored link, but that works fine. The students click on that, and the video will come up. It's great. Just nothing to it. But we can do better than that. This Canvas recognizes me. I can put video in other ways as well into the course. Let me get the edit cursor down a line or two there so that this next video will not be too close to the other one. Another way to put video into your course is to use this little tool here in the Rich Content Editor, Insert Edit Media tool. The first one in from the first one to the right of the table tool here. If you click on that tool, you get a couple of different ways to put a video in. One, again, just uses the URL for the video. If it's a YouTube video, it will do something even fancier. Well, let's try something else. Let's try TED. Let's go to TED.com, TED.org, I think. TED.com. Great, terrific source of short but extremely instructional videos in a tremendous variety, on a tremendous variety of subjects. Here's one that's particularly, and another wonderful thing about TED videos is that they're all shorter than, I think, 17 minutes or something like that. By definition, they have to be. So they're short, well done, to the point, and often delivered by the world's expert in something. This one looks particularly apropos right now. No explanation needed there. Well, here's the URL for that video. I just put that, if I just put that on my clipboard by copying it to the clipboard and go back to Canvas, using this Insert Edit Media tool, I can leave this on the General tab here and just paste that URL in and click OK. And we get a placeholder. And sometimes this works this way and sometimes it does not. Okay, so what are we going to do with that one? This was not a YouTube video. This is coming directly off the TED site. So Canvas did not handle that one very well. If that happens to you, all you have to do is go back and take that placeholder out and just use the link tool again. Or, let's see, leave. Can I get that from TED? No, shoot. Here we go, share. In the event that that does not work, you can look for what's called an embed code. That is on the TED site is going to be found under this share button. I'll show you where to find it in YouTube in a second. And if I click share on that TED video, I get under tools here, I get an option to embed the video. If I click on that, I get what's called an embed code. It's a rather cryptic looking set of computer code in hypertext markup language, which you don't have to worry about at all. All you have to do is copy it to your clipboard. And they give you a link here to make that easy, though you could do it manually. But I'll click that, I'll copy that to my clipboard. That'll work on either PC or Mac, of course. Now I can go back to Canvas and this time use the Insert Edit Media tool, but this time go to the Embed tab. And then just paste that embed code in here. Again, you don't have to understand anything about what that code means. You just click OK. And now, ooh, that's a lot sexier looking than what we had before. You get this beautiful frame of the video. It just kind of draws you in. You want to click on that. Gives you a much better feeling for what the video might be about and how interesting it might be. It's just more appealing. And then the students, when they click on it, will just play the video right there. They can get subtitles.
So imagine that a plane is about...
All TED videos are subtitled. But that is a risk that you take pulling video off of just random sites on the web. They're not always subtitled or captioned. The distinction is technical and unimportant at this point between subtitles and captions. As long as I got one or the other, you're fine. But that's not a guarantee. So when you can find something on YouTube, you can be virtually, not completely, but virtually certain that the video will have subtitles or captions. They may not be perfect, but they're likely to be very good. And with YouTube, you can select captions in something like 50 languages. And the viewer can select that. So it's if the caption tracks are available on the video. If there are multiple language caption tracks, the viewer can select those. So YouTube is always a good place to go. And I'm betting that this one's probably on YouTube too, because TED tends to put their videos on their own site, but to also then copy them to YouTube. The simple power of hand washing. How might we find that on YouTube? Well, we can go to YouTube, and in the search line here, we can do simple power of hand washing. Somebody searched for that one before. And there it is. It's the same video, just in a different place. So I can pull that one up on YouTube.
There's this idea that in portrait,
and I can also get an embed code for this video on YouTube by going to the share button. And this time, instead of just taking the simple share URL, the share address, I can go to the embed link here. And here's YouTube's embed code. I can copy that to the to my clipboard. I can go back to Canvas. I can find my cursor there. And I can go to the Insert Edit Media tool. I can go to the Embed tab again. I can paste that YouTube URL, or embed code, excuse me, and click OK. And there we go. It's a little bit more reasonable size this time. And I know the TED one really kind of takes over the screen. Look at all that white space it enforces. So as a general rule, again, things work better. Videos that you're inserting into or embedding into a Canvas page look a lot better if you pull them off of, and behave a lot better if you pull them off of YouTube. And here we go. And the video will play beautifully. And you can pause it. But a nasty thing about embedding videos from YouTube is that when you pause the video, or when the video gets to the end, you get these aggravating little pop-ups that suggest other videos based upon the video you picked that you might want to watch. Well, generally, you probably don't want your students being distracted in that way. So that is one negative associated with YouTube, embedding videos into your Canvas page from YouTube. But there's a secret weapon you can use against that. To show you that, I'm going to delete this video embed that I just did. And I'm going to embed it again, but I'm going to make a tiny change to the embed code before I use it. I'm going to go to, I still have that YouTube embed code on my clipboard, so I'm just going to paste that in. And there's a tiny change you can make to this at this point before you actually complete the embed of this video into the Canvas page that will prevent that stuff from popping up. You do have to know, you do have to look at the embed. You still don't have to know anything about how this embed code works. But you do need to know to look right after the width and height is the embed URL, the embed web address for that video in YouTube. And again, you don't have to understand anything about this except to know to look for the end of it. It's just before the term frame border, which is just whether governs whether a line is drawn around the video when it's placed on the page or not, but that's not important. But right before that is the very end of the YouTube embed URL, just before a quotation mark, which is just before you see the word frame border. Just trying to give you a geographical reference for this. You just put your edit cursor or click with your mouse right to the left of that quote mark. You can move it back and forth a little bit with the arrow key on the keyboard if you have to get it in exactly the right place. And you type the correct magical incantation, which is a question mark. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how does it, who came up with this or whatever. This is one of those things where you say the spell right and it works. Question mark, lowercase letters, R-E-L, an equal sign, and a 0. Not an O, not a little o, not a big O, but a 0. Before you do that, before you click OK to insert this embed code. And now when I play this, and pause it, those nasty little windows don't pop up. And if I go all the way to the end of the video,
More children like Mio reach their 5th birthday. Thank you.
if I hadn't replaced that at the end of the video here, suggested videos would pop up from YouTube. Instead, it just takes you back to the beginning. There is some possibility that something will pop up at the end or in the middle of the video, but if it does, it will be one of your videos. If you have video on YouTube, it may suggest a video or one or more videos from your YouTube account. It won't just go and pick stuff off the web and throw it up there randomly, often with no apparent relationship to the video that your students were playing. Sometimes involving someone in a thong who shouldn't wear a thong. It's hard to unsee some of these things on YouTube. It won't be anything actually obscene in all probability, because YouTube does a pretty good job of policing that sort of thing. But it may be, shall we say, inelegant or of questionable instructional value. So that's a way you can prevent that sort of thing happening when you use YouTube videos, which is just about the only real objection to using videos off YouTube. And you notice with the embed here too, you don't have all those distracting advertisements on the side of the screen and things like that. All of those are filtered out by the embed. And even the suggested videos are blocked if you put in that question mark REL equals 0. Let me put that in the chat tool for you so you know.
Dave?
Yes.
Can students put their videos, upload videos for assignments?
Can students upload videos
Assignments? For assignments?
to homework assignments? Absolutely.
Yes.
They certainly can. And there, as long as they know that you're not hearing impaired, there the captions don't matter so much.
Okay.
And videos that are uploaded by students in response or in fulfillment of a homework assignment don't count against your available file space in your Canvas shell. Those are stored and accounted elsewhere, so you really don't have to worry about that. We would hope that students would not upload an hour-long uncompressed video. For one thing, they'd have to sit there for a couple hours for it to upload. without leaving the assignment page. But short videos, yeah, are no problem.
It doesn't matter if students upload their video either to assignments or a discussion board.
They can attach a video file to a discussion post. They can submit a video to the Dropbox in an assignment, and either one will work, yes.
How can we make sure that
What's even better, the students can get their own YouTube account. Matter of fact, they probably already have one, because a lot of them will be using either Gmail or Google Docs, and in which case they have a Google account. And since YouTube is owned by Google and falls under that same Google account umbrella, if a student has like a Gmail account or a Google Docs account, they also have a YouTube account. So they could upload that video to YouTube and then just provide you with the share link for that video. And that would be a lot more efficient and a lot easier for them, because they don't have to wait for large files to upload to Canvas that way. But either way will work. Yeah, somebody else had a question.
Yes, I'm just wondering, whenever we introduce a video from YouTube, it's going to have captioning, or do we have to do something to make sure it's showing the captioning?
99+% of the time, the YouTube video will already be captioned, as this one is.
So imagine that a plane is about to crash.
The captions may not be perfect, but they'll almost certainly be adequate. These days, YouTube captions are extremely good. Automatic captions are extremely good. These, I'm sure, have been edited. So they're going to be spot on, 100%. But even the ones that have not been edited are very, very likely to be fine. Though if you do use a video from YouTube, it's a good idea to at least play a little bit of it and check the captions and make sure that they are reasonably good. If they were totally, you don't run into this much on YouTube anymore, but if they were totally incomprehensible, then that would be a problem. And then it's probably time to look for a different video. But the vast majority of the time, they'll be fine. Good question. But all videos uploaded to YouTube, except for a very tiny minority of ones with bad sound or other technical issues, will be captioned within a few minutes of the video being uploaded to YouTube. That happens automatically. Nobody has to ask for it to happen. It's one of the best things about YouTube. Okay. Let's see. Let me take out that background noise there. There we go. Good questions. Good questions. And the nature of the presentation today and so on, there's no real problem with, if you wouldn't mind sticking to questions that are in the same context as what we're talking about right now, I'd appreciate it, because very likely, hopefully, I will cover those questions a little later. The questions that aren't immediately applicable, that I'll cover those later. But what we're talking about here with YouTube and so on, those are very good questions and very appropriate at this stage. And I see some good questions in the chat tool as well, and I will get all of those before I leave today. I do not leave a session before I have answered every question that's put into the chat tool. So you may want to go ahead and put your question into the chat tool as well, just in case just in case, so that we're sure it gets answered before you before I leave today. Okay, so putting content in like this to Canvas, existing video, is really pretty simple. By and large, you would want to create a Canvas page and embed the video into the page as I've shown you here. Let me emphasize again that embedding the video into a Canvas page does not upload the video file itself to Canvas. This video file is still sitting on YouTube, or on, actually this one's at TED.com. This one's at YouTube. But in neither case do they get loaded onto Canvas. They're not served from Canvas. They don't count against your file space in your course shell in Canvas. They're still sitting out on YouTube or TED. And YouTube or TED are paying for the storage and for the bandwidth needed to stream the video. None of that impacts either Canvas or the San Diego Community College District in any way. These embeds are just fancy links. They're much more attractive looking than a simple video link like this one. And they are much more inviting to a student. People are much more likely, let me save this so we see what it actually looks like to the student. People are much more likely to click on this or this than they are on that. So the embeds are wonderful things, but they do not actually put the video onto Canvas. So you don't have to worry about that. Let's see, should I show you? Yeah, this is not the only way to put video into Canvas. If I were to go to my modules here in this course, I did link this sample video page into a module here. And if the student clicks on that, they see what we just created. But you can, if you want to, just put a direct external URL link to a video out on the web somewhere in Canvas. You can do that by clicking on the plus sign at the top of the module and selecting external URL. Or a web link. You can then paste, let's see if I've still got that on my clipboard. Yeah. Oh no, that's an embed code. That won't work there. I need the actual URL. Okay. Forgot what I had on the clipboard. I need the URL, not the embed. I can get that for YouTube from the share button at the video page and just copy the direct URL, the direct link to it. Then I can put that here and give it a name. I'm just going to call this TED Talk. Hand washing. Generally, it's a good idea if you're linking through an external URL in Canvas to a video, to bring that video up in a new tab. So it makes it easier for the student to get back to Canvas. And it also makes the video play better, or the video access work better, generally. I can add that item. Now I have another way to link directly to that video from a module without having to create a Canvas page. This doesn't look real sexy, but it works. If I click on that, or the student clicks on that and opens a new window, bing, they go directly to YouTube.
Try things.
Another disadvantage of doing it this way is that they go directly to YouTube and they see all this distracting stuff over here on the right, all the YouTube ads and things that people have paid YouTube to put up there. So I don't really recommend doing it that way, but it is something you can do. I get that question sometimes, so I figured I'd just head that off. I much prefer creating a page and embedding a video in a page. You could either create a separate page for each video, or you could create a single page that had several videos on it, as we do here, as we have here. That's entirely a matter of personal taste and the context in which you're using the video, so doesn't matter. All right, let's see. Anything else about adding existing video to your course that we need to cover here? Any questions about that in that specific area? How to get video that's already exists out on the web. We're not going to talk about until I move on. We're not going to talk about making your own video and putting it up there. Let's talk first about taking video or finding video out on the web and embedding it.
What were the letters you entered to exclude the pop-ups?
The magic code?
Yeah.
Oh, I was most of the way through putting that into the chat tool and got stopped. Let me see, YouTube suggested, sorry about that, video elimination. Okay, that is now in the chat tool, but to answer your question directly, they were a question mark, the lowercase letters R, E, L, an equal sign, and a 0. And there are no spaces in that string of characters. It's just question mark, REL equals 0. And that means something in hypertext markup language that basically says, well, it interferes with YouTube's ability to throw those suggested videos up. You do have to put that in just the right place in the embed code. You have to use an embed code instead of a simple URL, which means in the when you go to the to the Insert Edit Media tool, you have to use the Embed tab in the Insert Edit Media box that pops up, and you have to put the embed code in here, and then you have to add that question mark, REL equals 0, in just the right place. Otherwise, the video probably won't play at all. So should that happen, all you have to do is just delete that embed and just make another. It's not the end of the world, but it is critical where that goes. And I do have a tutorial for this that shows you just exactly what I just showed you there. And it is available at our online on-demand video tutorial site for the district. URL there is sdccdolvid.org. And let me put that in the chat tool. By the way, the chat tool, the chat log can be saved to your local computer at any time. If you look in the lower right-hand corner of the chat window, on a computer at least, you'll see 3 little dots in a row, an ellipsis. And if you mouse over it, you'll see the word More pop up. That's a menu open box. If you click on that box, you'll get or if you click on that menu tool, you'll get a menu popping up that has in it, among other things, an option to save the chat log. You can do that at any time. See, and you can keep updating it during the course of the meeting. If you're worried about forgetting to do it at the very end, ideally you would just save it at the very end when everything that we're going to talk about is in there, that we're going to use chat for is in there.
Dave, can you repeat again that URL where we can go and get the information, the YouTube that you were talking about? Can you repeat that again, please?
Yeah, I sure can. It's on, let's see, yeah, it's on the screen right now, right there. I realize that's a little small, so let me make it a little bigger than that. Let's see, where is that? There we go. That'll do. Oh, that's not the one I wanted.
CCD.
Sorry, I got the wrong thing.
Uh-oh.
There, that's what I meant to pull over there. http://sdccdoldvid.org. Make that bigger so you can see it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
That make it easier?
Yes, yes, because I can't see that very well. Thank you.
Trust me, I understand. And it is in the chat tool as well, so you can get it from there.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So on this site, you can find information about it's mainly tutorials on Zoom and Canvas, but there's other stuff there as well, some on YouTube, use of YouTube. You just type YouTube in the search box, which is down here, just a little bit below the top of the screen. And it happens to be the first one that pops up. Prevent suggested videos from appearing in YouTube videos that you've embedded into Canvas. And that will show you exactly how to do that, just as I explained it a minute ago. Also, the recording of this session will be on this site soon. You can get to that through a menu option at the top of the screen here, the Workshop Archives. There's one from just the other day, a question and answer session. But this, I'm recording this right now, and I will have that up there hopefully by tomorrow. It doesn't take very long to put it up. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you how I do that here in a minute. Maybe I'll, yeah. So you can always find these recordings here, and there are page after page of them. There's 5 pages right now, going back as far as 2016 when we first put this site up. So there's lots of stuff there. There's several Canvas overview sessions, numerous introduction to Zoom sessions, and more focused or specific topics like using Canvas on mobile apps, grading, which is what I thought I was doing today, and so on. So those are there. They're long, but when you play them back, you don't have to listen to the entire thing sequentially. These are in these videos. This is an embed of this video in a site other than Canvas, but it's an embed like what we've been talking about. So these are YouTube videos, and you can just scrub through them, and you can kind of see what's going on behind the scrub there. You can just click and drag that little red dot, and you can go, or you can find what you're looking for. There we go. Probably going to have to screen that, find a course that actually has some students in it. So you don't have to, and this one I do not have set to avoid pop-ups, because that's harder on this site than it is on Canvas. But you don't have to watch your way all the way through this one was relatively short by comparison. This one's only a 3-hour video. Some of them are 5-hour video or 4-hour videos because of all the questions at the end. This one today may have a number of questions at the end too, because we've still got 31 folks in here. And I've got a lot of questions in the chat tool right now, which is wonderful. The questions are the best part of the presentation, trust me. So, but anyway, that is, so these 3 and 4 hour long videos can still be useful because you don't have to watch them complete from the beginning. All righty. So embedding video.
Dave, on
And
that page,
that was the last question, as a matter of fact, in the chat tool. And how can I have access to recorded Zoom sessions? Well, that's where they are.
on that page, Dave, there's a little icon that says YouTube.
No. If you want to get tutorials on a particular subject, just type a subject keyword into the search box. So if you want tutorials specifically on YouTube, just type YouTube in the search box indicated by the little magnifying glass there and press enter, and you'll get all the videos that we have that have anything to do with YouTube. There's a few of them. There's 7 pages worth, but the more recent ones come first, so they're more likely to be useful. If you want workshop archives, Zoom recordings of our Zoom sessions, they're under workshop archives. We have a menu button for those at the top because they're very popular. You just click there, and all the workshop archives come up. And you can still search for, like for Canvas overview. And pull up just those.
Can we search with the date of the workshop?
If I've put it in the title, yes. Let's try that. Canvas overview. I think it should work. 3/25/2020. I usually use periods rather than slashes because slashes can have negative implications. See if that works. Yeah, look at that. This site uses a hosting server called WordPress, which is actually a blogging tool, but which is also a great way to build resource websites like this. Okay. Excellent. Good questions. So, what if the video you want is not out there? That's going to happen a lot. Even if there's one out there that's pretty good, it's not going to use exactly the same terminology as you might use. It's not going to emphasize exactly the same concepts that you feel are the most important. So the most effective instructional video that you can use is always instructional video that you have created yourself. The videos that you create yourself may not be as slick looking or have quite as good of production values, the video geeks say, as the ones that you could find on TED, or probably they're just as good as most of the ones you're going to find, or many of the ones you're going to find on YouTube. But the videos that you produce yourself, unless you are a professional video producer, are not likely to look as slick or as professional as the ones that you might find out on the web. But they're really going to be more valuable to your students because they're going to be presented from your point of view, in your voice, and I mean that both literally and metaphorically. They're used to hearing the sounds of your voice, so that's more comforting to them and more credible to them right off the bat. Also, your your metaphorical voice, what you consider to be important, the emphasis that you put on different aspects of your subject matter and so on, will be much more like what what you would provide to your students in the classroom live. So it's always better, if you have the time and the limited expertise necessary to do it, to create a video of your own. I know that can sound like an intimidating idea, though who among us hasn't made a selfie video on their smartphone? And even a good selfie video could be a useful instructional video if you talked about the right things in your course. And your students would really rather watch, trust me, they would rather watch you, even if the video is a little bit less professional looking than what they might find somewhere else on the web. They'd rather watch you because you're the person they trust. You're the person who's going to be writing their tests. You're the person they want to hear from. So your videos are going to be a lot better for them, and they're going to prefer them to something that you find on YouTube that was done, even if it's done in a professional studio by a speaker, you know, a professional motivational speaker or something. They'd rather have your video. Trust me on that. Just remember that if you are doing something like that, there's an old saying about perfect and good. Perfect is the enemy of good. No video is perfect. Feature films are not perfect. Films that cost millions of dollars to create, that have hundreds of people working on them, all of them highly skilled professionals, even those films are never completely perfect. One of the things that the people who use the Internet Movie Database app love to do is watch a movie almost frame by frame and find the goofs. And there are goofs in every one of them. So your videos are not going to be perfect either. They're going to be probably a little more obviously imperfect, unless you're just a natural at this, but they're going to be good for your students. So it's worth doing, and it's not something you have to get too hung up on. Oh my God, the video is not going to look very good. If it's instructional, it doesn't matter. As long as the students can make out what you're saying and get the information you're trying to impart to them out of the video, it's worthwhile, and it is by definition good. And trying to make it perfect would just probably make it impossible for you to do it at all. So, how can we make videos? Well, what am I doing right now? Remember that little sound at the beginning of right at the beginning of the video? This meeting is being recorded. This meeting is being recorded. What I'm doing here is producing one big instructional video. Hopefully most of your videos are going to be shorter than this. You all are a stalwart lot, or you're desperate, one of the two, so you're still with me. But I guarantee you, pre-recorded video, you don't want it to be any longer than it absolutely has to be. Most research suggests that by the time you get 7 minutes into the video, you've lost about 90% of your audience. You all are still with me because it's probably like NASCAR. You're waiting for the crashes, waiting to see if I screw up, how I might screw up later on. That keeps it a little entertaining. But in a pre-recorded video, the student's fairly certain that doesn't happen. So it's good to keep pre-recorded videos as short as you possibly can. But creating them All you have to do to create an instructional video for your students is to start a Zoom meeting, and every one of you probably either already has a free Zoom Pro account or can get one from CCC Confer, from the state video conferencing organization funded by the state chancellor's office. You can just start a Zoom meeting. Doesn't have to be anybody in it but you. Start a Zoom meeting, record it, talk for a little bit, maybe, so that they see you, then share your screen and show your students what you want them to see. How to use a piece of software. Bring up a PowerPoint presentation and deliver that presentation like you were in your classroom. Just a sample PowerPoint presentation. If I want to provide this to my students, all I have to do is start a Zoom meeting, share my screen, and start delivering my PowerPoint. You don't even have to go into slideshow mode. That can actually complicate things. Better just to leave it in leave PowerPoint in edit view and start talking. 5 tips for listening well. Before you come into a presentation, prepare yourself. You want to be mentally and physically ready. Read a little bit about the subject so that the concepts are not totally foreign to you. Try to avoid the experience of going in and finding yourself lost after 5 minutes. Yada yada, yada yada yada, yada yada yada, yada yada yada. Done. That's all there is to recording a narrated PowerPoint presentation in Zoom. I just embedded that. I just put that in the middle of all this. Nothing to it. And I think you can see how much more valuable that would be, except for the yada yada part, how much more valuable that would be to your students than just posting your PowerPoint slides with no narration. And there's nothing to making this video if you know how to start a Zoom meeting. And I have a tutorial for that. And we have a session for that. We have numerous recorded sessions on how to use Zoom here, and I will be doing another one. Let me make sure I've got the right presentation at the right time now. I'll be doing another one tomorrow from 2 to 4 p.m., same time. It says adding synchronous interaction to your Canvas course through Zoom, which is learning how to use Zoom and get it into Canvas. And how to get the recordings into Canvas. That's all we're talking about here. All you got to do is share your screen in Zoom, record your Zoom session, share your screen in Zoom, and show your students whatever you want them to see. Or if you're not sharing your screen with them, just stop your screen share. Or if you don't have anything to show them on the screen, stop your screen share and talk to them for a little bit, and then go back and share the screen again and continue. There's nothing to it. And you're creating your own video. If you are recording to the Zoom cloud, which is what will happen by default with a Confer Zoom account, the free Zoom Pro account you get from CCC Confer, the video will automatically be uploaded to the Zoom cloud, and in an hour or two, you'll get an email with a link to that video that you can share with your students in Canvas the way I showed you earlier, with just a simple external URL link in a Canvas module. Or you can put the link into a Canvas page. You can't embed those, which I find limiting. But you can just put them in as a simple external URL in a module like I showed you. If you don't record to the Zoom cloud, if you record to your local computer instead, which is the other option in Zoom, that the video file will be stored on your local computer, and you can then upload that to YouTube, which is an exceptionally simple process, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. So, and then you can, from YouTube, you can make those beautiful embeds in your Canvas pages and make it look really sexy, draw your students in, and all of that. So the process of creating your own videos with Zoom is just nothing to it. If you can run a Zoom meeting, you're probably already creating instructional video for your students. The only question, and again, if you're recording to the Zoom cloud by default, then all the handling of the video and the captioning and everything is taken care of for you. If you want to be able to put those nice looking embeds into Canvas, you can just, at the end, you can record in Zoom using the option. When you click on the record button, you can be given the option to record to your local computer if you have that set up. If you record a Zoom session to your local computer, Zoom will store it on your computer in a predictable location that you can find every time. It will go into your default documents folder on the PC or the Mac, into an automatically created folder named Zoom. So this folder gets created automatically the first time you save anything from Zoom. You can open up that Zoom folder, and you'll find inside some number of subfolders which are dated and given a date and time hack. I've done a lot of Zoom sessions on this computer, but here's the before today. The most recent one was on the 29th. I can tell that this was it because it says 2020, the year, 03 the month, 29 the day, and it's the recording was started at 13:26, 1:26 p.m. So that tells me which recording this was. I open that up. Here's my meeting recording. It's called Zoom_0 every time, no matter what the subject matter was. This is just Zoom's way of alerting you to the fact that that's your recording file. The fact that it's that big, that recording file is a ½ gigabyte. Remember what I said about not uploading video to Canvas? If I uploaded that video to Canvas, it would take probably well over an hour to upload, A. And B, when it got there, I would have used over half of the file space available in my Canvas course for one video. Now, most of your videos won't be that big. This is a very long session. This was, I think that was that, let's see, go back. Yeah, this was Sunday's question and answer session, which I've already uploaded to YouTube, so I don't want to use this one as an example of how to do that, but this is the file you would upload to YouTube. So how would you do that? Oh, and by the way, in this same folder are my chat logs that I saved. This is where you go to look for your chat logs as well. In the case of like today's session, you would not have the video files and so on because you're not doing the video recording. Only the host usually can do that. But you will find this meeting saved chat.txt file, which is the chat log from that session. That was actually yeah. So that's where you'll look for your saved chat logs as well from these sessions. But what we're really interested in right now is the fact that that's where your video is going to be from Zoom. Let me see if I can find one that's a little bit smaller, so it won't take us forever to find it. Find something with a shorter. Well, that one doesn't even have a video in it. Neither does that one. Those are too big, too big. Let's see. Ah, this looks good. I don't know. Hope this is not embarrassing. I'm not quite sure what this is, but we'll use this one as an example. All right. Zoom_0 and then Zoom_1. Actually, if you start a recording and then stop it in a Zoom meeting and then later on start it again, you'll get multiple Zoom_number files. Normally the file will be named Zoom_0. But if you start a recording again later after you stop that first one, if you start a recording again later in the presentation, you'll get Zoom_1, and it'll just keep going if you keep recording and stopping and recording and stopping. But the one, I'm just going to use this Zoom_1. Normally it would be Zoom_0, and that'd be the only thing there. But in this case, yeah, let me just take the Zoom_0 and show you how to get that up on YouTube. Because if you know how to do that, you can always get your own videos up onto YouTube. I'll also show you where to look for your videos that you have uploaded to the Zoom, that you have recorded to the Zoom cloud, and show you how to find those as well. But let's do YouTube first. To do that, I'm going to bring up YouTube. Go to the YouTube homepage. If you have a Google account, which you will have if you use Gmail or Google Docs or anything, any service provided by Google, except just the Google search. Just searching for something in Google does not create a Google account for you. But if you use any Google services other than that, you'll have a Google account already, which means you'll also have a YouTube account. YouTube is owned by Google, and the Google's accounts span all of their products. So if you have an account for Gmail, you also have one for YouTube. You'll be able to tell if you're logged into your Google account. When you go to the YouTube homepage, you'll see a little circle in the upper right-hand corner of the window here, which if you've uploaded a profile picture to your Google account, you'll see yourself there. If not, you'll just see a little silhouette. But if you see that circle with either the picture or the silhouette in it, you're logged into YouTube through your Google account. If you're not, there'll be a link there to sign in. But I'm signed in, so if I just click on myself there, or on the silhouette, I'm ready to, I'm in my YouTube account, in my so-called YouTube channel, which is just a place where YouTube keeps your videos. And I'm ready to upload video to YouTube. The very first time you use YouTube, if you try to upload a video, you'll be prompted to create a, quote, channel, unquote, which is just a place for your videos to go. it takes about 2 mouse clicks, and Google will and YouTube will automatically prompt you to do it if you don't already have a channel. Once you have a channel, all you have to do to upload a video is click on this little icon right here. It looks like a kid's drawing of a camera, and it's got a little plus sign in the middle of it, which implies add. So this is how you add video to your YouTube channel. You just click on that little icon, and you're all given an option to upload video. You click on that, and YouTube draws you through it by the hand. It tells you to select the file you want to upload. So you click on that blue button, and we look for our, let's go back and see if I can find where I was a minute ago in Zoom. And let me look, see if I still have that up here. That was in 322, okay. 2023, 22. 322. There's 2 of them. That one's too small. That's the one I want. Open that one. Let's say I'm going to upload Zoom_0 there. All I have to do is click on that. That's the file I want every time, and click open. The video automatically starts uploading to YouTube at that point. YouTube's going to ask you to do just a couple of things before it goes ahead and puts that video online for you. One, it's going to ask you to give it a title. It'll put the file name in by default, but you don't want to leave that there. That's way too generic. So this one, since I don't really know what this is, I'm going to say this is an unknown YouTube video. Presumably you'll know what you're putting up there. You do on this page also have to tell YouTube that no, it's not made for kids. By the kids, they mean people under 13. It's a legal thing they have to jump through now. But it won't, if you try to go on without doing that, it will prompt you. So if you forget it, you'll be prompted to say, no, this is, and what, even if you might have a 12-year-old prodigy in your class, don't tell YouTube that it's made for kids, or you're going to be jumping through hoops for about half an hour. So just click, say, no, it's not made for kids, and click next. Ignore this video elements page. That's an advanced something you can worry about much later. I don't ever worry about it. What you will have to do on this third page here is tell YouTube how visible you want this video to be. And there are 3 levels of visibility for YouTube videos. One of which you'll never want to use for instructional video. That's the private one. That puts a lot of hurdles in the way of your students getting in. You have to assign your students access to that video one at a time. You have to type in their email addresses, which they use for their Google accounts, which you probably don't know what they are. Or even if they have Google accounts. If they don't have Google accounts, they can't view a private video. So you don't use private for instructional video. You use either unlisted or public. Public is obvious. Anybody, not only can anybody view it, but it can be searched for. And it can pop up in someone else's suggested videos. So public is something you use if you think the video may be of general interest and there's nothing confidential or inappropriate to share with the world, because you're talking about sharing it with the entire world. I encourage you to do that if A, you're comfortable with it, and B, there's nothing in the video that would be inappropriate shared with the entire world, because the strangest things that you may post to YouTube will strike people's fancy. I put up, geez, all the way back in about 2007, I put up a very short YouTube video or a tutorial on YouTube that showed how to do some arcane, I can't even remember now, some arcane configuration change on a Macintosh computer. And it turned out to be quite unexpectedly. And I sent it to an individual faculty member, but I did make it public. And it turned out to be something that online gamers were very interested in. And you know, most of my YouTube videos that I put up, if they get a couple hundred views, I feel really good. Last time I checked this video, it had been watched 70,000 times. So apparently a lot of people got something out of it. Quite unintentional on my part, but I'm glad it worked out. So if you can make a video public, do so. But more often than not, you'll probably use unlisted, which means your students don't have to be logged into YouTube to view it, but they have to have the link to the video. They have to have the share URL, or the video has to be embedded or linked into Canvas or something, but they don't have to log in to view it. They can just click on a link and go right into it. So unlisted is the most common visibility type selected for instructional video. And then you just click save. And YouTube puts this video into your channel with just that one save. This little is just a progress screen, a status screen. You can just close that. And YouTube will then show you your video list. And there's that one that I just put up. It's all of 40 seconds long. If you want to share it with your students, the little pencil icon here gives you the video details, including the link, the share link. So you can copy that to your clipboard right by clicking that little icon, or just highlighting it and copying it. And then you can put that into Canvas in those various ways that we talked about. You can, of course, play the video to make sure it's okay. Using your USB connected document camera as a whiteboard, that looks to have been something a tutorial I was making for someone. Notice that it is not yet closed captioned. There's no little CC symbol down here in the YouTube player bar. Don't worry about that. That takes a little while after a video is first uploaded to YouTube. Sometimes it's just minutes, sometimes it's hours, or even a day or two before the closed captions appear, but they will almost always appear. So you don't have to worry about that. So now you have this video online that you can share with your students through Canvas, or you can just mail them the share link. Email them the share link if you want to. So creating your own videos using Zoom and sharing them with your students is just not that difficult to do. And we have a tutorial for that. If you go and search for Zoom, well, just Zoom will do, but recording will get you there a little faster. Recording to your local computer in Zoom and loading the recording onto YouTube is just what I just showed you. And whenever we have questions like this, we always try to make these videos that you can refer back to at any time when you need to refresh yourself on the answer. Indeed, I probably could have done this seminar today. This is a hell of a time to tell you that after you've just sunk an hour and a half of your life into it. But I could have just sent you an email with a series of links in it, and you could have played through, and it probably would have taken half the time to get the information that I've been spooning out here today. but it's nice to talk to you. And you can do the same thing. You can create videos like this for your students using Zoom by just recording your Zoom session, and the students can view them as often as they like, whenever they like, and benefit from them. And the hurdle for you to get into video production is learning how to start a Zoom meeting and how to record it. Of course, we have videos for that. We have tutorials for that. So I will show you where to find your videos, or your recordings, excuse me, your videos, if you record to the Zoom cloud instead. You can get those videos a couple of different ways, but probably the easiest way is to open up a web browser and web to zoom.us, which is the Zoom website, their home website. If you have a Zoom Pro account from CCC Confer, you can access it here. If you have a free Zoom account that you created at Zoom itself, you can access it here. All Zoom accounts are accessible at zoom.us. You just sign in, if you're not already signed in, using the credentials that you were given by Confer Zoom, the email address that you signed up through Confer Zoom with, and the password that you were given or created, and click sign in. And you go into your Zoom account screens at zoom.us, and your recordings to the Zoom cloud, not the ones you put up on YouTube, but the Zoom cloud recordings, will be found under the recordings tab here on the left. I've got a few up there. I do most of mine to YouTube, and I'll explain why in a minute, but here are the Zoom cloud recordings. To share these with your students, all you have to do is click the share button for that video, and you'll be given a meeting recording URL right there. And you can just record that, you can just copy that to your clipboard, go to Canvas, go to a module, and with the Zoom recording, with the Zoom cloud recordings, you can't embed them into a Canvas page. You can link them to a Canvas page, but you can't get that pretty looking embed. It just won't work. So probably the best way to share your recordings, your Zoom recordings with your students in Canvas, if they're on the Zoom cloud, is to create an external URL link, a web link, paste in that URL that we just got from the Zoom cloud. This is a Zoom cloud hosted recording. And be absolutely sure, in this case, to load this video in a new tab, a new browser tab, or a new browser window, because it won't work otherwise. Another reason I'm not that enamored of the Zoom cloud. But now, if your students want to watch that, they just click on that link. Okay, opening up a new window or a new tab, and there's the video. It's captioned, just like the ones on YouTube. We'll have it from this. Okay, from here on in, the meeting will be recorded. Sorry about that. Okay, let me start. Let me re-up my share here. There we go. Apparently, I messed up in that meeting and didn't get it all recorded. Oh well. So that's all there is to sharing those Zoom recordings with the students. Works fine. They can full screen it. They can get the closed captions. the recordings quality is good. No real negative to storing your videos here, except that I worry a little bit about the Zoom cloud. Zoom is getting so much use right now, and it's a relatively small, for all the global impact the Zoom video conferencing tool is having worldwide right now. Zoom is a fairly small company up in just outside of LA, and has only been around since not even 10 years yet. They were founded in 2011, I think. I think I started using some of their beta stuff in like 2012 or 2013. So they've been wonderful for a long time, but it's still a relatively small outfit as opposed to YouTube and Google. So I worry a little bit about the videos being consistently available from the Zoom cloud. So far, it's been fine. And I've been pleasantly surprised that it has been. But Google and YouTube, on the other hand, YouTube's one of the most frequently visited and biggest sites on the web. It's a huge thing. If that goes down, then the apocalypse has come, and we got lots of other problems. But it's a personal decision, and that's something you do yourself. So far, the Zoom cloud's working great. Right. Let me take a look at my outline here, make sure I haven't forgotten anything critical. Let's see. To figure out where I put it. There it is. Oh, the other thing I'll show you about creating video. Let's say you don't have a webcam, and you want to create a talking head video of yourself talking to your students, which is a very good thing to do. Even if you don't have a webcam, you can always start a Zoom session and share your screen and share all kinds of information with students. We call that screencasting, and Zoom is a great tool for that. But if you just want a talking head video, it's just about as easy to do it from your smartphone. And to show you that, I'm going to need to pull up a little Zoom magic that we talk about in our introduction to Zoom sessions, which is a USB document camera. Let's see here. I need to flip that right side up because of the simple lens in that document camera, but I can do that in software. Now, almost every one of us carries around in our pocket a video camera that would have been the absolute envy of a professional videographer 20 years ago. The cameras in our smartphones are so good that you can produce really nice looking, good sounding video with nothing more than a smartphone. The only question is how to do it. Well, probably if you're going to do it, you're probably going to want to put it up on YouTube. So you can record right from your YouTube app on your phone. Handy dandy little thing, this document camera. These can be had, Amazon's actually had these in stock lately. That can be had for about $100. And they make a Zoom lecture, they give a Zoom lecture an entire new dimension. So I can even zoom in on this a little bit here so you can see a little better. I'm looking at the YouTube app there. Right there, I can go to the YouTube app. And there's a little camera icon like I had on the YouTube website. I can tap on that. And I can record a video right here. I get a little record button, and this recording the document camera, looking at the phone, is not going to be a real instructive thing. So I think you get the idea. If I punch this record button, pick up the phone, you'll be able to figure out what I'm doing. And I am using the selfie camera, the forward-facing camera on the phone. You could use the other one. There's a little button you can tap right there to use the better back camera on the phone, backward-facing camera. But I'll just use the selfie camera because I'm taking a selfie video. So I'm going to tap this. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to say something, and I'll put it back down. All right, there I am. And I'm recording a YouTube video right now on my smartphone with no more than a couple of taps on the screen. Now I can set that back down, and I can stop the recording, clicking on the stop button. And and we're ready to go. I've got my speaker turned down. The reason you're not hearing that is that I have my YouTube audio rerouted to my stereo system, so I can play my tunes on my stereo. I forgot to cancel that. Sorry. Should have done that. Let's see. Maybe I can do that right now. Yeah, I can turn off Bluetooth. Now, if I go back and play this again, let's see. Come on, let's play. Oh, there we go. I can play it again. All right, there I am, and I'm recording a YouTube video. Right, so there is on my smartphone. There is sound with that. I just wanted to demonstrate that. I know you couldn't hear that very well, but you're not going to have to, because I'm about to put this on YouTube and play it from there. Once I'm confident that the video is recorded, I can hit next up here in the upper right hand corner. At this point, if I weren't logged into YouTube, the YouTube app would prompt me to do that. But I am. So now all I have to do is click upload. So it's easier to put a video onto YouTube from your smartphone than it is to do it from your computer. Video's uploading. Just that fast, that short video uploaded to YouTube. Now YouTube is processing it. And within just a few seconds, there it is. That's actually the one I loaded earlier. If I refresh, there's the one I just did. And if I bring up YouTube here again, go to my channel, my video channel, refresh the page. There's the one I just did. It's titled by the date, but I could go in and change that. But that's all there is to getting a video up on YouTube from your smartphone. And I hope I shared this so you can hear the sound. If I didn't, don't worry about it. I usually do. All right, there I am. And I'm recording a YouTube video. Nothing to it. So that's the other really easy way, even easier way, to get a video up on YouTube to share with your students. And I can share this video with my students in exactly the same way you saw me sharing those TED videos and other videos off the web in Canvas. So That's what I wanted to show you today. Not only have we talked about how to find video on the web that's in your area, in your subject area, and put that into put links to that into Canvas in such a way that your students can view it by just clicking on an embed or a link in your Canvas course. We've also seen how we can use Zoom to create very sophisticated instructional videos and upload those to either the Zoom cloud or record that and upload them to the Zoom cloud or to YouTube and share them with your students. And we've seen how to do it with your smartphone. And you'll be able to come back and view this recording anytime you like if those details become a little vague, though we do have shorter tutorials that deal with most of these things as well on that on-demand video site. So now I'm going to answer questions that I haven't already answered. I'm going to go first to the chat tool and get the ones in there for the people who were kind enough to first let me know that I was about to do the wrong session, and B, were kind enough to hold off until we were ready for questions here. And I will answer all of these questions before I quit today, and the answers will be in the recording if you have to leave. I understand. I wondered if this would come up today. I think I did mention it briefly. What is a Zoom bomb? We got an email about that earlier. Yeah, I got that email too. And if I didn't already know what Zoom bombing was, I might have been a little freaked. My God, the FBI is involved. Look out. You know, they'll be breaking down the door. Federal warrant. No, Zoom bombing is not that big a deal. I have been Zoom bombed once, and I'm probably more vulnerable to it than anybody else at the district, because that personal meeting URL of mine has been sent out in dozens of emails. It's been received by literally thousands of people over the last few weeks, and I've been Zoom bombed once. What it is if you have a publicly published Zoom link that lots of different people can get to. All of you have gotten emails, or you wouldn't be here if you hadn't gotten the email from Mary about how to get into my Zoom room. But those things get out. And if the link is public, people who are not invited to the meeting can come in and be disruptive. As I mentioned the other day, or as I mentioned earlier, I had a visit from Professor Hanky Panky the other day. But it's really, and there have been some ugly Zoom bombing incidents where people have come in and said very nasty things and shared propaganda and things like that of an extremely unsavory nature. But all you have to do if somebody does that to you is kick them out of the meeting. As the host, you have that capability. Unfortunately, I can't show you exactly how to do it because Zoom doesn't share the windows. Even though I'm sharing my screen with you, Zoom doesn't share the windows that I see when I'm doing that. So I'm just going to describe the process of stopping a Zoom bomb in its tracks. I'm working on a tutorial for that. I haven't finished it yet. I'm sorry. It's just become an issue in about the last week, to tell you the truth. But basically, what it is, as the host of a Zoom meeting, you have a very powerful participants tool in your Zoom menus that you can bring up that has a list of all the participants in the meeting. You all can pull that up as well, but you can just look at it. As the host, I can do things about it. So if somebody starts disrupting a meeting, I can go to my participants tool, and it will tell me, first off, if somebody other than me is sharing their screen, which is a dead giveaway. Also, it will tell me if anybody who else is talking. You all can hear anybody who might be talking, but I can see it on my participation list. There's a little microphone icon that will have a little green bar jumping up and down in it if somebody's talking who's not me. And I can see that very quickly. And if I find that person, like, let's see, like, looking at somebody I can mess with, like, let's say Fred is misbehaving here. I'm not going to do this, Fred, but I could find Fred and I could mouse over his name in my participants list, and I get a little button that says more. And I can click on that button, and down at the bottom of the menu that pops up when I click on more in the participants box is an option to remove that person from the meeting. Boot them out, which I shan't do to Fred, because Fred's been very well behaved. But I can throw them out, and what's better, they can't get back in, because Zoom identifies the device they were coming from, and it blocks that device for the rest of this meeting. So basically all you have to do is throw them out of the meeting, and it doesn't even involve breaking a sweat. And that's really all there is to it. It's not the existential crisis that you might expect from an email from the FBI. It's not the end of the world. So it's not worth. Some of the solutions that are mentioned for Zoom bombing, in addition to what I just described, involve making the meeting so hard to get into that half of your students may just decide not to bother. So I don't recommend that. I recommend just dealing with the situation. If it, in the very unlikely event that somebody should bomb one of your class meetings, just throw them out. And it doesn't matter how big they are or mean they are, you can throw them right out the window, and that'll be it for that meeting at least. So it's not the existential threat you might have expected. I've read those news articles and emails too, and they make it sound like the world's going to come to an end. What about screencast? Can you use that link to upload into Canvas? Alan? Yes, if you create a screencast video, again, I wouldn't recommend, in a screencast video, by the way, is just what I'm doing right now, is recording your computer screen while you're talking about it. And not just a screenshot either, but in full video. I mean, everything that I'm doing right now is being recorded by Zoom, and the changes on the screen recorded in full motion and so on. That's screencasting. And Zoom is one of the easier screencasting tools to use out there. But no matter what screencasting tool you use, you can save your screencast videos, and you can, while you could upload them to Canvas again, we strongly recommend against it. I would much very much recommend you put the video up on YouTube or somewhere rather than putting it on Canvas, because you'll use up your Canvas file space pretty quickly. There is one exception to that rule, however. If you are grading in Canvas, which I was prepared to show you today, if you're grading in Canvas, this is the wrong course to show you that. That's the one I want. And say you're grading an assignment submission in Canvas. You go to your speed grader. and you're grading this thing and you're making comments. You can type comments in, but you can also upload a file attachment to the grade with grading comments in it, and that file can be a screencast video file. That's the one exception to the one exception to the recommendation of not uploading video to Canvas, because this will store that screencast feedback file with the assignment submission so that the student can view it later. And all you would do is just find the screencast file somewhere in your videos and just looking for a little one here. That one will do. You can just open that, and that file will upload. When you submit the grade and the feedback, that file will upload, and the student will be able to click on it and play it right out of Canvas. And that won't be a problem, because that doesn't, and I'm not going to complete that here, but that doesn't count against your file space in your Canvas shell. That goes somewhere else. So, Alan, if you're still there, did that answer your question? You can unmute yourself. I've left you that capability. Alan may not be with us anymore. Alan, if that's you, we're not hearing you. I'm sorry. I heard something. But anyway, let me know. Any of you, or if the answer I give here is not to your, if you have a follow-on question or something, please don't hesitate to email me. I'll put my email address at the bottom of the chat tool in a little while. You can find me in the directory. It's just dgibberso without the N at SDCCD. How did I get my computer desktop on the Zoom screen? I just shared my screen. I just shared my screen in Zoom, and that will then, if Zoom is recording, Zoom will record my screen as I'm sharing it right now. What you're seeing here right now with my cursor moving around, Zoom is recording that. And that will be in the recording when I ultimately put it up on YouTube. Could you please review how to start the Zoom meeting and notify students? Sure. There are a number of ways to start a Zoom meeting, but the way that I recommend. I'm sorry?
Thank you, Dave. This is me. This is Olga. I'm asking you.
Oh, very good, very good. I'm more than happy to do that, go through that again, because that's something people can't hear enough. I like to start a Zoom meeting from my Zoom meetings tab at the Zoom website at zoom.us. I just go to my personal, in order to ensure that my students and I end up in the same place, the same Zoom meeting room, which can not happen if you're not careful. I like to go to my personal meeting room, and in my personal meeting room, if I'm not already in a meeting, as I am now, there will be a button right here in the upper right-hand corner of the screen that says Start Meeting. I click Start Meeting, and my meeting's running. Presumably, I have informed my students before I do that I'm going to be in Zoom at that time and that we're going to be having a class. You all were informed by Mary Kingsley, who sent you an email with a schedule and the Zoom link.
Turn it off.
I'm right here.
No?
Okay. No, keep going.
Sorry, I just had to mute everybody again. Olga, please feel free to unmute yourself if you have a further question. That's another thing you can do in case of some sound intruding and so on. You, as the host, have the capability to mute everyone with like one mouse click, 2 mouse clicks. You can do it very quickly. So you click Start Meeting, the meeting starts. Presumably, before you do that, you have informed your students when to attend the meeting and given them a means to do so. The easiest way to do that is to give your students your personal meeting room link, which is found in your profile on Zoom, among other places. You copy that to your clipboard, and you can either email that URL to your students, or you can put it into a link in Canvas, which is what you're more likely to do. So you can go to Canvas, and let's go back to my course here, get out of the grading tool. Excuse me. And let me go to a course. I'm trying to keep this course in good shape for the grading thing that I am going to be doing on Monday. So let me go to another shell. And I can put like a class schedule in a page in Zoom. And here I've just got like one meeting scheduled, but that was today's meeting, as a matter of fact. But I can add more. Like there's one tomorrow, April 2nd. It's also at 2 p.m. And I can just put my personal Zoom meeting link right here. I can highlight that, I can put in hyperlink, I can paste that link, Zoom meeting link that I just showed you in there, and insert the link. Now, if I save that, student just comes in and clicks on that, and in they go to Zoom. And they'll end up in my personal meeting room with me rather than in some randomly generated meeting room, which can happen otherwise. You can also just do what I've done here and make the date itself, the date and time itself, a link to my personal meeting room. I just let's see, I got to edit. I can highlight that, put in the link, paste that same link in, insert it, save that. Now the date and time actually become a link to my Zoom meeting room. I just click on that, and into Zoom they go to my personal meeting room. Or I can put I don't want to go through the whole spiel that we go through in our Canvas and Zoom trainings, but there'd be you can put a link in your course menu to your personal Zoom meeting room. I don't happen to have one in this course right now, but I could do that. Or I can put a link in a module to my personal Zoom meeting room, whatever. But this is probably the most efficient way to do it. You can also use the Confer Zoom app, which I'm not going to show, though I do have some tutorials on that. But that Confer Zoom link in the course menu has been rather glitchy for us because it depends on your choice of email addresses at different times and places and so on. And we've had a lot of people not be able to use that, including me in one of my own accounts. So I'm not overly enamored of that, but that will work too in many cases. So Olga, I hope that gave you another trip through that. Yeah. Okay. Can you upload a video from OLVid? The how-to for Zoom? Yeah, absolutely. You sure can. those videos are all YouTube videos, almost all of them anyway. And you were, Ria, you were specifically asking about the one on how to join a Zoom meeting, I think.
Yeah, you sent me the link on that, and I wanted to put that in the Canvas pages. Can I do that as a way to help them understand the process?
Absolutely. And that's one of the last ones I did. So if I search for Zoom here, I should get that. Joining a Zoom meeting. This is the one you were interested in, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. A couple of ways to do that. Let me click on that video and go to the actual video page here in our blog. You'll notice that you can tell by looking at this that this is a YouTube video. So probably the coolest, the neatest way to do this is to just click and start playing this YouTube video and then go to YouTube and say watch on YouTube, because I want you to be able to get to the embed code. You can't get the embed code from here. You have to go to YouTube to get it. Joining a Zoom meeting. So you can go to the share button, you can get the embed code, you can copy it to your clipboard, you can go to Canvas, go to the module, and you can create a page in your module. New page. Join a Zoom meeting. There's no P in join, is there? An add item. God, I wish I could type. Then you have to edit that page, and you can embed the video on the page in the way that I showed you earlier by going to the Insert Edit Media tool, going to the Embed tab, pasting the embed code that I just copied out of YouTube here, and click OK. And there's that video, joining a Zoom meeting, and save it.
Wonderful.
Now you have a link to it in their module. Or if you don't really want to mess around with that, you can just take the link for this, the direct link for this page in our on-demand site, which is right here, and just copy that to your clipboard and go to Canvas and just put in a link to an external URL into a module.
Well, yeah, that's even easier. Yeah.
That's even quicker. And it works just as much. It's not as sexy looking, but it looks, of course, with me in there, it's not going to look sexy anyway. So that's a forlorn hope. But it may be a little bit more. Then again, I won't scare them off either. So maybe this is better. We just call this same thing, joining a Zoom meeting. But it is important to load it in a new tab. Click Add Item.
Okay.
And if they click there and open the window, then they go right to the link in the in our site rather than YouTube. So
yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Either one will, and the second one's quicker. So did that answer your question? Mm-hmm.
Dave, so to start the Zoom meeting, I don't see Zoom on Canvas. So what was my first step?
Go to open a web browser.
Okay.
On the address line, type zoom.us.
Okay, zoom.us. Okay.
Press enter.
Yeah.
That takes you to this website. Then you log in if you haven't already. I just logged in here. If you haven't already logged in, log in.
No, I don't have the account.
Oh, you don't have a Zoom account?
No.
Oh, well, that's another question.
Yeah.
In that event, open up another web browser and go to zoom.org. Forgive me for making assumptions. You know what they say about that. Zoom, conferzoom.org. Let me make that a little bigger so you can see it.
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't see that probably from your end
It's
either.
on,
That's not it. But here's the one you want. Or just type on the web browser address line, just type confer zoom.org.
Hold on 1 second. Okay.
You bet.
Confer. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
You got that? Good. Then if you go to that, if you type that into your web browser and press enter, you'll go to the Confer Zoom website.
Okay.
Just go right, and you do have an EDU email account, right, with the district.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So just click sign up.
Sign up. Okay.
And fill out this form. For the email, use your district email account, your EDU email account. Your organization is the San Diego Community, or Miramar, or Mesa, or SDCE, wherever.
Yes.
Tell them what you are, your faculty, probably, and your title, assistant professor or whatever, and a cell phone number, if you possibly can, and then sign up. They will get back to you somewhere between a few minutes and 72 hours usually, because they are they're hammered right now and they're very busy, but they'll do their best and they'll send you the information you need to access your Zoom account.
Well, I already said.
And that's free, and is a fully functional Zoom professional account, has all the capabilities that anybody would need. I'm using one of those accounts right now to bring this session to you. That's paid for by the state chancellor's office, so you can thank the chancellor when you're doing that. Otherwise that would cost you $15 a month, which, considering how miraculous Zoom is not bad. That's about what you pay for HBO. And you can't exactly teach your course on HBO, so, but you won't have to pay that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, I finally got to the right question on that. And let me know if you have any trouble with that. Let me make sure everybody has my email address.
So I scheduled the appointments with the students on the Zoom conference tomorrow, so at 1 o'clock. So I don't think they will send me the message.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let me show you a stopgap on that then. You can get a free Zoom account immediately, or nearly immediately. Your only limitation is going to be that the meeting will probably only allow you to run for 40 minutes.
No, that's 40 minutes.
40 minutes is long enough.
Yeah.
In my case, my students would prefer that I could only talk for 40 minutes. So that would be a blessing rather than a curse. But what you can do, let me sign out here.
Yeah, they said 72 hours. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, you just got the note back. They may get back to you sooner than that, and that we'll hope. But if it's tomorrow, if it gets to be tomorrow and you're maybe an hour away from having to use Zoom with your students, you can come here to the Zoom website at zoom.us.
Okay, so let me do it.
Click on this button that says sign up, it's free.
Okay, hold on. So let me. Well, okay, give me 1 second. Okay.
You bet.
Thank you for your patience.
That's what I'm here for. And when you click on that, all you have to do is put your email address in and use your district email address.
So it's zoom.us signing up. That's what you.
Yeah, just zoom.us is all you need to put in. And then there will be a button that says sign up. It's free.
Sign up free. Okay, I got it.
And give them your edu email address and just click sign up. And you can be using the Zoom account in about 5 minutes. And when CCC Confer gets around to creating your Pro account, if you used your edu email address here, the accounts will automatically be merged together, and your free account will become a Pro account, and you'll be fine from that point onward. But the free account you can use almost immediately. So that will get you out of this little jam that you're in right now.
Yeah. So if I want to talk to students tomorrow, okay. So what's the best way how to do that?
Okay, I tell you what, we're running a little past 4 o'clock here. It's no problem for me, but I know there's some other questions I've got here. And I'll be happy to go over that with you, but I think I probably need to take some of these other questions.
Yes, okay,
first.
I understand, yes.
Okay. Could you discuss students inserting videos into discussion replies and assignment responses? Well, students can do that. Just like you do. It's the same process, exactly. Let's go to Canvas and pull up a discussion. Well, first off, in this course, let me become a student. In Canvas, you can become your test student by going to the home screen and then clicking on home in the course menu and going to student view. Now I'm a student called test student. I can go to a discussion forum here, say. Here's one. And I can post to this discussion forum by clicking the reply button to my question here. And as a student, I get the same rich content editor that I was showing you earlier. So if I want to embed a YouTube video here, I just go to, let me show you yet another trick here with this. If it's a YouTube video, all you got to do is go to this tool. You don't even really have to go to the Embed Code, the Embed tab. You can just go to General. And let's see, let me get a YouTube URL here. Here's one for this one I just put up there from my cell phone. So the student can record a video of themselves on the cell phone. And then upload it to YouTube, and you saw how simple that was on the phone. Go back, we just paste that into the source box. Bada bing, and post reply. So the student has just posted a video in their discussion post. It would be exactly the same thing in an assignment if you gave the student the option to submit an assignment by text entry. Go to the assignments tool. Let me find an assignment here that would be appropriate. How about this one? Well, let's go video assignment. Let's take that one. Watch the following video, and that's not what you're asking about. Sorry. Well, let's try this one. The student could submit that assignment, If you've given them the option for text entry, they get the rich content editor and they can embed a video here. If they should happen to have the video in a file on their smartphone or on their computer, they can also upload it by file upload. Just choose the video file. Click open to select that and then just submit the assignment. So students can certainly embed a video in an assignment text entry submission, or in a discussion post, or anywhere else in the system where they get the rich content editor. And they can also just attach it as a file as well. So that's a bunch of different ways that students could do that. And if you wanted to show your students how to do that, and you wanted to make them a tutorial to show them how to do that, you could just go into your course, become your test student, start up a Zoom meeting, share that screen, show them how to do it, stop the recording, either put it on the Zoom cloud or up to YouTube, and then put the link in a module or embed it in a page, any of the things we've done today. So you learned, you saw everything you needed to today to make your own tutorials for your own students. That's a lot of power. All right, we discussed that. Will this be on tomorrow on a recording? Yeah, everything I'm doing is being recorded, and I'll try to put that up before I get up this evening. It's not, well, no, I have to wait for the video to finish rendering. I'll try to put it up this evening before I go to bed. I am able to see, oh my, was I not sharing my screen at some point at 2:41? Oh, not. Sorry about that. Dave, what if you have a screencast video that's 25 minutes long and you're uploading to YouTube and you get an error saying you can't upload? Oh, Lord. That's something I should have mentioned. Yes. In order for you to upload videos longer than 15 minutes, your YouTube account has to be verified. Usually, YouTube will ask you to do that when you first start using it, but sometimes that does not happen or it gets lost in the weeds. So your YouTube account, your Google account, does have to be verified before you can upload videos of greater than 15 minutes. YouTube just wants to know you're not a robot. To verify your YouTube account, let me show you how to do that. Verify YouTube account. Google will tell you how to do anything. Here it is. This is Google support. And here's the actual directions on how to do that. Here we go. Verify your channel. Here's the. So it's youtube.com/verify. And let me put that URL in the chat tool because I can't show you the process because mine's already verified. As might, and I'll tell you what, I just realized that it's gotten dark outside and it's snowing like a son of a gun. Welcome to spring in Idaho. Had to get up and turn on the lights. Sorry. Just noticed I was starting to look a little bit like Bela Lugosi there, a bad vampire movie. Here's the reason why it's getting dark. That's something you don't see every day in San Diego. All right. Let me put this in the chat tool. Verify YouTube account. There's the URL. You just go there and Google will ask you to give it a cell phone number, and they will send you a code. They'll also ask you to click a little box that says I am not a robot. Then they'll send you a code and a text message on your cell phone and ask you to type it into the website. And then your account will be verified and you can upload immediately upload videos of longer than 15 minutes. So that's the answer to that one. What is the YouTube icon on the menu on that Canvas page you are showing us now? Ah, sharp eyes, very good. I did skip over that for a reason, but let me show you. When you get the rich content editor, you get a little YouTube icon in the menu bar. What that allows you to do is search for YouTube videos right from within the rich content editor in Canvas. You just click on that and you click in a subject area or whatever you want to search for. And this is one of the reasons I didn't show you this. It is a little twitchy. Let's see, let's try architecture. See if it likes that. No, it's not working right. This has been glitchy. And that is probably why Canvas is about to remove it from the rich content editor. They're about to do a major upgrade on the rich content editor. We already have it on the system, we just don't have it activated yet. It looks a bit different from this one, unfortunately. It works pretty much the same way, but it looks a bit different. And that icon is no longer in it. So I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. I have presented that in the past, but once it became apparent that that was going to go away, I didn't want to mention that again. If it's feeling good, you can get it to work for you, all more power to you. But it's just as easy just to go to YouTube and search for videos there. So, but that one's going away. Sorry. Dave, would you talk about recording a video and upload it to YouTube? Boy, have we done that today. And we have that in our site, our tutorial site, recording to your local computer in Zoom and loading the recording onto YouTube. Bing. And the second half of this video that shows you loading the Zoom video onto YouTube would be exactly the same process for any video that you wanted to load onto YouTube. And I showed you how to do this on the smartphone too. If you wanted to upload your smartphone video to YouTube as well. It's real simple off the smartphone. Is there a way to include PowerPoint slides in a video you could upload to YouTube? Oh boy, is there. I hope I did that right after you asked that question. But all you have to do while you're sharing your screen in Zoom is to pull up your PowerPoint and work your way through it, talking about it, and that becomes a part of your Zoom recording. And then you just put that Zoom recording on the Zoom cloud or on YouTube and you're done. That's all there is to recording a narrated PowerPoint. Once you have placed an embed code into a page and saved it, how do you go back and edit the embed code if you want to? Really good question. Let me think, can you do that? You can. It might almost be easier just to reload the video or re-embed the video, but you can do that if you're not afraid of a little bit of HTML editing. I'll show you, and you can make your own decision of whether it's worth it. Let me find one of those that I just uploaded. Over here. The sample video page, I believe is where I put those. Yep. Okay. If I edit this page, there's a little button up here in the upper right that says HTML editor. You click on that and you see what this page actually looks like to your web browser. That is a web page in HTML, hypertext markup language, HTML code. If you look, you can find those embeds. Here it is, right here. iframe, src equals, and then the YouTube embed URL. The stuff about frame border and stuff like that doesn't show up, but you can still find this YouTube URL. There's one of them. I guess I've just got the one on this page, yeah. And there's that rel equals 0 that I added. You can go in and you can add that now, right between the end of the YouTube embed URL and the quotation mark that encloses the terminating quotation mark that encloses it. So you could add that in there right now and save, and it would work. You can decide whether that's easier than just deleting the video from the page and re-embedding it. Can you go over getting a page into the correct module, please? Absolutely.
Dave, I figured that out while you were teaching.
Oh, I love that. I love it when questions answer themselves. Good for you. And you will remember it too because you figured it out. That's great. Thanks, Vicki, for letting me know. How can I have access to the recorded Zoom meetings? Well, that, again, assuming you mean my recorded Zoom meetings, that's in, at the sdccdolvid.org under Workshop Archives at the top of the screen. Click that, and all our recordings are right here. And there's page, after there are 5 pages of them you can go through. Just about every topic we ever cover is in there at least once and sometimes several times. And as to which one to pick, it's a crapshoot. If you know which meeting you were in, look for the date, because I do put the dates on there when there's more than one copy of it. Sorry to join the workshop late. I have overlapping Zoom meetings. That is a statement of our current condition in the world right now. Everybody has Zoom meetings all the time. I have Zoom meetings with my kids in London. I have Zoom meetings with a friend in Georgia, and I have Zoom meetings all day. It seems like I'm living on Zoom. I feel that one, and certainly understand. If I make a personal video, how do I send it to my students? How do I upload to Canvas? Well, you don't upload it to Canvas, preferably. You put it either on YouTube, or if it's a Zoom recording, you can put it on the Zoom cloud or on YouTube. Equally easy. It depends, Roberto, the exact answer would depend on how you made the video. Whether it was made on your smartphone or on a computer. If on a computer, what production tool did you use to create it? If the video is in a file on your hard drive, then it's easy to upload to YouTube. And this tutorial will show you how to do that. Recording your local computer in Zoom to your local computer and loading the recording onto YouTube. I should have, let me see. There's uploading your video from your iPhone to YouTube. Not sure I have one on just uploading just a random video to YouTube. I should probably do that too, though, as I say, the second half of this one right here, loading the recording, the Zoom recording onto YouTube, will show you exactly how to upload any video file that you might have on your hard drive up to YouTube. So, how do we get a pro Zoom, be able to record and make videos? How do you share your computer screen? Pro Zoom you get through Confer Zoom for free. All you need is a California Community College's employee email account, sdccd.edu email account. And I showed you the Confer Zoom site and how to get that. How do you share your computer screen? Unfortunately, I can't show you that while I'm in a Zoom meeting because Zoom doesn't share those menus and so on. But in general terms, I can describe it to you. At the bottom of when you're the host in a meeting, at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see a menu that includes a green button labeled Share. You just click on that Share button, and then on the a little white window opens up that basically asks you what you want to share, and you just take the default of sharing your desktop and click Share again in the lower right-hand corner of that window, and you are sharing your screen. It's just that two mouse clicks, and you are sharing your screen. So that is covered in our Zoom introduction to Zoom. And, oh, I think I have that, come to think of it, I think I have my movie that I show in that class on here. Excuse me. And you could watch one of these introduction to Zoom things, but they are 2 hours and plus long. Let's see. Surely it's in here, I think. I'm looking. Gotta go to page 2 here. Ah, there it is. Using the Zoom control menus as a host. That link right there. Let's see, I'm at 319. Okay. That link right there. I just put the URL. Oop. I was about to send it to the wrong place. I just put that URL at the bottom of the chat tool. Or you can just go in here and search for Zoom in the search box and find it. Using the Zoom control menus as a host, that will show you how to share your screen in in a meeting that's in progress and where you're the host. I have a YouTube video that I want to use without closed captions. Is there a way that I can add it? Woo. In way less than 1% of the cases, when you upload something to Zoom, or to YouTube, excuse me, YouTube may fail to caption it. It very rarely happens, but it does happen. Usually it has something to do with the sound quality of the recording. That's probably, Brian, that's probably one we need to talk about offline. If you can send me the link to the video, I'll take a look at it and see if I can see anything that might help. If not, maybe we can try to, well, I can look and see if there's anything I can do.
Okay, I'll just send that your email address then as a link.
Yeah, send me that. I'd like to see it and see what's going on. Like I say, that just very rarely happens anymore. So if there's anything I can do to kickstart it, I will. What I will probably try is, and I'll warn you in advance so you can decide whether you want to send me the link or not, but I will probably rip it off YouTube. There are a number of ways to download videos off YouTube that aren't yours. And then try uploading it again to my YouTube account to see if I can get the captions. And then we can upload the captions into your copy of it on YouTube. So I'll give that a try. Sometimes if you just upload it again, it works. Well, that's something you can try too. You can try just uploading the video again and see if it captions it this time. But I'll be happy to take a look.
It's not my video. It's been up there for about 10 months or so and has, you know, several thousand views.
Okay. Well, I can still, if you'll send me the link, I should be able to rip it. And since it's not yours, I won't even feel guilty. And I'll try uploading it again and see what happens, just to get the captions into it. Okay.
All righty, I appreciate it.
We'll give it a shot. Does saving your Zoom meetings on your computer use a lot of space? Well, if your Zoom meetings are, they're going to be fair sized. I'm assuming you're lecturing to your students, so you're probably lecturing maybe an hour or something like that, maybe a little longer. Those recordings will be a few hundred megabytes in size. And that's not a tiny file by any means. But these days, hard drives on laptops and desktops tend to start at about a terabyte of storage. And a terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes. And a gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes. So your hard drive on your desktop probably has something on the order of 1 million megabytes of storage. Now, you may have an older machine that has a smaller hard drive as well, but even so, any hard drive any machine made in the last 4 or 5 years or so probably has a hard drive that's so big that even these files will not fill it up. Worst case scenario, if that gets, like if your hard drive's almost full, and however big it is, we eventually fill them all up. You can always take those files after you save them to your local computer and then copy them off onto a thumb drive or an external hard drive and keep them there, and then delete them off your main hard drive. So, but that's relatively unlikely to be a problem these days. They're just, the hard drives have gotten so big that even though we would consider these files, these video files, these recordings, pretty good sized in an absolute sense, relative to the size of hard drives on most machines these days, they're tiny. How do I get rid of the face of the person who posted the video when embedded from YouTube, asking them to subscribe to their channel? Oh. There you're talking about a fairly serious copyright violation. Changing somebody else's video, using someone else's video that they put up on YouTube is no problem. But getting rid of their face, that's that's a serious copyright violation. I'm trying to remember the fine for the first proven instance of that. It's tens of thousands of dollars. You don't want to do that. I'd stomach their face on there rather than get rid of it. The chances of you actually getting in trouble for that are so minuscule that you're in more danger of having an airliner fall on your head walking across the street. But still, it could and has happened to people, both of those things. So I recommend against that.
No, not a problem. The question went on just as you were editing to get rid of the ads and eliminating distractions. So that's where that.
Yeah, well, now getting rid of the YouTube ads by putting that REL thing in, code in there is not a copyright violation.
Right.
That's a feature that YouTube put in there deliberately. That's okay. But actually changing the video that you're using, I mean, it's possible to rip that video and drop it into a video editor and cut out the pieces you don't want and then repost it yourself. But as I say, I wouldn't recommend that.
No, this was just the link up top where it shows the person who posted it, and you hover over it and it comes up, subscribe to this person's.
Oh yeah, if you embed it into Canvas, you get rid of most of that.
Yeah, this one had it with it embedded on the two I did, and I didn't see it on the one you did. That's what brought the question up.
So it's yeah, that embedding it in Canvas and putting that little question mark REL equals 0 just about gets rid of just about all the distractions from YouTube.
Okay.
And that's a wonderful thing. That alone makes it worth doing the embed rather than just putting a link to the video in the module or an external URL, because then they go to YouTube and they get all that stuff and they get all those distractions and trailers for the latest hot movie and things like that, which I don't know about you, but those things are usually more interesting than my instructional videos. So it doesn't do any good to have all that stuff playing while they're trying to watch my video. So just embedding it in a Canvas page and presenting it to it that way will get rid of the vast majority of that.
All righty, thank you.
You bet. Great question. If YouTube has mistakes in the closed captions, how do you modify that? If it's somebody else's video, there's not really a time-effective way to do that. If it's your video, on the other hand, it's fairly easy. And if the video is not too long, it's even doable. If it's a 2-hour-long video, my advice is to live with it. But if it's just a few minutes, you can edit your captions for your YouTube videos. You go to your, you find the video that you've uploaded in your video list here. And let me see, quickest way to get to this. I don't know that one has captions yet. This one I think does. I can go to options here. And I can edit. No, darn it. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Let's just click on the link to the video. Let's click on the thumbnail for the video. And bring it up and go to subtitles on the video detail page. The ones you want to edit are the automatic English subtitles. You can go out here to the end of the line to options. And edit on Classic Studio. Here are your captions. Click Edit. And your captions will appear here. This is a nice short one, so it's easy to show you how it works. and just start playing. Using your USB connected document camera. Okay, that's perfect, except that maybe I'd like a capital letter if you want to get real anal about it. And here I've got an extra space. That looks better. As a whiteboard alternative in your Zoom meeting. Okay, I missed that one because I said white ball instead of whiteboard, so I can't fault YouTube for that. I find that most of the words that YouTube misses in my video, it missed because I missed them. But I can correct that. I can make it say what I meant instead of what I said. Using your USB connected document camera as a whiteboard alternative in your Zoom meetings. To do this, just share your screen in the usual way. Okay. Period there. The vast majority of the editing is just putting in caps and periods. Sharing your entire desktop. And you're now sending, and that's all I said. So then when you're done, just save the changes. So I went through all that for one word. So that's how you edit captions in YouTube. If it's your video. If it's not your video, you pretty much have to put up with whatever's there. What if you don't have a smartphone? Seriously. Well, then you're not going to be recording videos on your smartphone. But you may have a digital camera that will record video to a little chip. And you can take that chip, if you have a chip reader on your computer, you can pop that in, copy the file over to your computer, and then upload it to YouTube. That's a lot more troublesome, but it can be done. If you've got a specialized situation like that where you might have some other tool that would allow you to do this, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Just email me and we'll try to let me get familiar with the nature of the issue, and we'll see if we can't come up for a way with a way for you to work around the absence of a smartphone. But this is one of those times when having a smartphone really pays off, when we're having to do so much stuff like this online and so on. Do you need a YouTube account to record the video? If you're going to record a video and put it on YouTube from your smartphone, yes, you have to have a YouTube account. If you're going to upload a video to YouTube from your computer, a Zoom recording or something else, yes, you have to have a YouTube account, which is free. And indeed, you may have a YouTube account. If you use any Google products like Gmail or Google Docs, you already have a YouTube account. If not, you can have one for free by going to accounts.google.com, accounts plural. And if you don't have one, there'll be a link here to sign up for one. And it doesn't cost you a thing. Google collects a little bit of information about you, but not enough to do any harm. And you have access to all these wonderful Google tools like Google Translate, which does an amazing job of translating documents and things like that. The online translation tools, from one human language to another have gotten frighteningly good. So accounts.google.com will get you there. See you next time. Indeed. Looks like we're coming. Oh, here we go. Oh, nope. Oh, yeah, I never mind somebody thanking me for repeating an answer. I never mind doing that in these question and answer sessions because I know people are coming in and out at different times. That they've learned in these sessions that I do that that I'll always have this Q&A session afterwards, and I'll answer anything, and they know about when it's going to start because I almost always run right to the end of the 2 hours. So no problem at all. I'm more than happy. I teach, oh, this is fascinating. I teach film and arts related classes. I was curious if you had any updated information regarding copyright issues using photographs and/or video clips in your recorded Zoom meetings, whether it is recorded or a synchronous Zoom meeting. I have received contradictory information about the issue of copyrighted images in this virtual learning environment. Yes. And you're going to continue to get conflicting advice on that. As a general rule, if you can avoid it without compromising the integrity of your instruction, I would avoid it because it is probably a technical violation of copyright. You can make an argument for fair use if you meet the 3 or 4 criteria for fair use. I'm not a let me preface this by saying I'm not a copyright lawyer, so I'm not going to give copyright advice, but you can make an argument for the fair use exemption because this is for educational purposes. You're showing it only to your class, presumably, in a live Zoom meeting, or if you are posting it on Canvas, only your class has access to it. If you don't use it every semester over and over again, that's in your favor. And if the bottom line really is, are you costing the copyright holder any money? Are you interfering with their right to monetize their intellectual property? If a convincing case can be made that you are costing somebody money, then they're not going to, fair use is not going to fly. I do know about copyright law is that it's made on a case-by-case basis. There are no hard and fast answers that anyone can give you about whether the use of a copyrighted work is legal or not. All you can do is go by certain precedent and custom and make a reasonable argument for, say, fair use, educational fair use. But that doesn't mean that a judge wouldn't rule against you. So the practical advice is try to be reasonable, try to make sure you're not costing the copyright holder any money. And if somebody asks you to take the video down, you take it down lickety split, because it's not, even if you prevail in the end, it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. So you don't fight it. And that's the only advice I will give. Yes.
Yeah, thank you for answering my question. Yeah, just I've been, I'm at 3 different campuses and I've gotten 3 different answers. And
that's because there is no hard and fast answer.
Yeah, and it's just it's a real dilemma because my stuff is all like visual learning, and
yeah, I understand.
And the students are like oftentimes completely unfamiliar with like this might be their first exposure to something, and I can't show it to them, and the reason is I like at one campus one instructor that was giving suggestions he claimed that, well, because Blackboard or Canvas is a closed system, but that's still copyright infringement. Like,
that is an argument for one of the arguments you can make in asserting fair use exemption for display of copyrighted material.
Yeah, and the reason it was a worry for me is on my personal website a few years ago, I ran something more or less like I have a blog, and I ran a post that was along the lines of kind of an educational, like a review of an exhibition, and I used an image, and I received like a cease and desist letter from a lawyer.
Oh yeah, you've received one of those.
Yes, that's why I'm saying is that, a lot of folks, I know I keep bringing this up in various Zoom meetings just to like make people aware, because I doubt that the universities or the various respective community colleges are going to pay someone's bill if they get.
I wouldn't count on it.
Right. See, I got charged. They were very kind about it, but like they were able to track me down. Like my website didn't have any contact information. It didn't have a link to like click this link and send me an email. They were able to, I'm a visual artist and filmmaker, so they were able to track down my producer in New York. I live in San Diego, and sent her a letter. And then they sent me screenshots. And on top of that, then they estimated how long it had been online, and then they prorated it, but they were kind about it because they understood that I just didn't, they even, I think it said it in the letter, like, we understand this wasn't a malicious act, but we need you to remove it, and we have to charge you for a certain amount. And so I keep bringing it up in these meetings because, we're all
That is always a possibility.
Yeah, because we're all stretched thin financially, I'm sure, as it is, and some of us, can't. I can't afford that to happen again.
I do understand, and yours was, of course, a public website, which made it very easy to find.
Yeah.
It would be very difficult for them to get into Canvas to find it, but someone could narc you out.
That's the thing. I mean, like students, someone could post copy your video. They could post a screenshot, and if you got a very large classes, and they it's not necessarily that they mean to hurt you. It's just they might just do that because so-and-so didn't show up, and they just say, oh, well, I'm just going to post it. Because I find like this is just sort of the reality of how students don't fully understand that you can't just take a picture of anything, and that I've had that problem.
Right.
Yeah, like I've had that problem in exhibitions where I've gotten really valuable artworks that aren't available, and were with the stipulation that students couldn't photograph it, had a big sign. And the first day, somebody's pulling out their phone, and I'm having to go, can you read? I know this is a college campus, and there's a huge sign there, no photography. Like,
yeah, I've seen exhibitions where they collected phones at the door.
Yeah.
For very reason. Yeah.
And it was
you bring up an exceptionally valid point. And anytime you use a copyrighted image or text or any copyrighted work, without the express permission of the copyright holder, you are taking something of a risk. Like in your case, if the purpose of your site was educational and you met certain other criteria, you could have argued fair use. But to defend that, you would have had to gone to court, which would probably cost you a lot more than just paying whatever they wanted.
Right, which is what I did,
which is wise, no doubt about it. And so there is a risk. Copyright law is made on a case-by-case basis. You just can't be sure other than getting the written permission of the copyright holder, which sometimes is impossible. People may not know who the copyright holder is. It may be an orphan work, but even that is technically a copyright violation.
Yeah.
Can you prove fair use? Well, you can't prove it. You can make that argument to a judge, but by the time you've gotten to that point, you're already in trouble. So the best thing to do is, if you possibly can, avoid the use of copyrighted images. And whatever you do, never use a video or an image owned by Disney.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They will find you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually working on a documentary where years ago I interviewed Jack Kirby, who created all of this stuff, like Disney, and I met with a lawyer just to find out about the legalities I'm going to need to do when I approach his estate.
Right.
Of using the recording I did of their father, and you know, and those laws change state by state.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, which is interesting. Yeah, so I mean, you know, this is particularly problematic for anyone teaching film or any kind of contemporary art class where they need to show visuals. And there's a lot of pressure on us, I'm sure I'm not the only one, to somehow have your class just make this smooth transition to being online.
But it's not the same thing. You have a copyright exemption to show copyrighted images and works in your classroom.
Right, in the classroom, there's no problem. That's fair use. Yeah.
But you put it online, and it's an entirely different situation.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, thank you.
So I would say, as you're, well, I don't have to tell you, caution is try to find an alternative to that image that is in the public domain.
Yeah.
If you can, is the only advice I could give. And again, I'm not a lawyer, but your experience points that out eloquently.
Yeah, thank you.
That's thanks very much for sharing that. It's a fascinating conversation.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of these Zoom meetings where, you know, everybody's talking about PowerPoints, and it rarely comes up, and I find myself repeatedly asking about it, and then I was surprised that a colleague had sort of used this belief that, oh, it's a closed system, and was a working artist. And so one, it's also problematic if you're teaching art and you're teaching students that are going to hopefully go and do artwork as a career, is you got to be respectful of other artists, because, and see, I'm really hesitant about it because I've had my own work stolen multiple times. I've even had work stolen and put in a book without my permission in another country. And then I found out about it, and that was when I was a graduate student. So I'm particularly sensitive to it. And you know, so there's this ethical dilemma of, you know, your course will have to suffer, but perhaps the larger lesson, you know, I try to explain to students, is that we have to respect this, because down the road, when you're doing your work, you want people to respect it, even if you're not in the same country.
What if you were the artist? How would you feel about it?
Yeah, and I've had that experience. I mean, I've had it happen a couple of times.
I understand. So it's a morass, and particularly with any sort of feature type video. My God, what is it? Eyes on the Prize, I think, for years and years and years couldn't be shown at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, by anyone, because there were like 40 different copyright holders between the music and the still images and the video, the newsreel footage, everything that was in there. And there was no way anybody could track them all down. Some of them were dead.
Right.
But nobody could find them. Nobody knew that. And for about a decade, that was unavailable to this classic piece of cinema was unavailable to show because no one could get copyright clearance.
Right. I didn't realize that about that because that was PBS.
Yeah. Even though it was created by public radio, but PBS didn't own all the copyrights to everything that was in it.
Oh.
Or didn't have permission, from all the copyright holders. It was such a montage of material that, and that to a lesser extent, any film has those issues.
Yeah, because I mean, at one place I saw one video, like pre-recorded Zoom session, where they said, I think it was between 20 and 28 seconds of video can be used as fair use, but stills are even tougher.
There's no hard and fast time limit.
Yeah, and so I don't see how I can even show that.
The law says a small portion or an appropriate portion, and it depends on the total length of the work, but nobody can say, well, at 27 seconds you're okay and at 28 seconds you're not. It just depends on what the judge says when it goes to court.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
There is no hard and fast rule when it comes to copyright, using a copyrighted work, except if you get the written permission of the copyright holder, you're covered. Anything short of that, and there's some risk.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. That's a fascinating discussion. I really appreciate hearing your viewpoint as someone who's been on both sides of that issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
I'd ask you for a limited license to repeat some of that conversation without either with attribution or with.
No, go ahead. Yeah. You just I can type my name in there. No, I can type my name in there. Yeah, go ahead and use it. I mean, it's a real problem, and just to give you a quick anecdote, when I was in film school, this is before everything went digital. I had dropped off a negative of a short film at a lab in Los Angeles, and there's a big lab that there's the main lab that most of the studios and even independent filmmakers were using. It's called Photochem, and it was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I remember dropping off my project, and then someone came in and they knew the name of the project, and they simply bought the negative. And so then they kept it for ransom. I had to pay these people to get it back.
My God.
And then I went to Photochem and I basically said, so you have no safeguards. Someone can just walk in. So then they were like, yeah. So then I said, so in theory, if I had a blank check and I just happened to be in line behind the person dropping off the negative for, like, say, the next Steven Spielberg film or the next Oliver Stone film, I could buy it. And then there was this silence on the phone of essentially, yeah. And then they basically said, you have to have something in writing that we have on file that lists only the people that we know. So this person copied my project and turned it in at another college as their own work. And then as I was around the same time when I was as a student, I worked for a pretty established artist, and I did a bunch of drawings for him to help him make a film. And then he published a book overseas, and I found out about it. And he didn't even have the original artwork. He had photocopies. He published the photocopies. And so then a university intervened, and then they kind of paid me retroactively, and then they had me sign a contract kind of resolving the problem. And I didn't have a lawyer. I was a student at the time. I didn't have the money to go get a lawyer and all that kind of stuff.
Living daylights out of them.
Yeah, so I've always been really sensitive to that issue, and I don't want, whether it's a big corporation or it's someone I don't know, I never want to be accused of doing that kind of action regardless of the intent of it's just to show it to a class, because I know the harm that it does. Anyway, that's me on my soapbox. So I'll step off my soapbox now.
This is a fascinating conversation. I've never talked to anyone who's actually had that breadth of experience. The closest I've ever known to something like that happening was a mentor who had been a pioneer in computer and computation technology, had worked for Honeywell, and had actually constructed one of the first electronic calculators and patented it through a company that he had founded. And he traveled the world, and one time he went to Italy and walked into an office at the Italian electronics giant Olivetti, and he saw a calculator sitting on a desk that looked just like his.
Oh, wow.
And he asked him about it, and it was his. They had copied they bought one of his machines and reverse engineered it and slapped it, and it had a nice Olivetti trademark on it.
Wow.
This kind of stuff happens all the time, unfortunately, and I understand your reluctance to engage in any activity that might even smack of something like that. Educational fair use is a custom in copyright law, but it can certainly be abused. Fair use can be claimed in situations where it's clearly not fair to the content creator. And
yeah, it's one of the reasons that I never post my PowerPoints online, and I tell classes on the first day that a big element is so I can show them, like sometimes, like I'll give you an example, is like I teach an American cinema class and I'll show Psycho, and then I'll have a PowerPoint that has very specific shots from the film, and then I'll explain, well, why did Hitchcock use this, and then follow it with the cut to this other shot. And so after they've seen the film, it's really helpful for them to go and look at very specific images and then be able to have a discussion of like, oh yeah, I noticed that too, or why is that there? And that's fair use in an in-person class. And it's so much more dynamic because then they just had the experience of watching something, and now they're kind of taking it apart and dissecting it as a class.
And it's educationally wonderful.
Yeah, and I really enjoy it, and they really enjoy it, but I can't do that online. I mean, it's just, I can give them a link to watch the movie, and then I either have to really describe it very carefully, but they're all having a different picture in their head of what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for the conversation. And there are a lot of us who have copyright issues that we're trying to deal with too. I was wondering, Dave, could he show, like, for instance, could he use the USB camera overhead to show images that are not being recorded?
I guess that would be the same problem though, right?
Yeah, same problem.
Well, if it's not being recorded, then it's nowhere except that one instant.
If it's not being recorded, it means the chances of you being caught are very, very low. It doesn't mean that you haven't engaged in the copyright violation. So.
And most of the colleges want you to record the meeting.
Yeah. So this is an ethical and a practical consideration that every instructor has to make on their own, basically, ideally with as much information as possible. And it's between you, Jesus or Allah, and the Motion Picture Association of America, or the various content creator organizations, and you just have to try to behave to balance the needs of your students against the rights of the creators and the law. And like I say, there are just no hard and fast answers. And any use of a copyrighted work without the express permission of the copyright holder is a risk and a potential ethical violation. So it's not a simple world in that regard. Copyright law really needs some work. Who is it? Larry Lessig at Harvard made a career out of talking about this. Most of what I think I know came from him and his TED Talks and things like that. He's amazing. A legal scholar at Harvard Law. I think he's still alive. Anyway, his stuff's all over the internet. If you want to know more about education and copyright and so on, he's a terrific expert on that. And even he will say, can't be absolutely certain no matter what you do. So, fascinating conversation. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And good luck. And I do hope you don't have any more of those experiences.
Yeah, me too.
All righty. Well, great. Hope I'll see you again in another meeting sometime.
Thank you, Dave.
You bet. My goodness, the stall, 4 of us left. Still standing at an hour and 34 minutes after the end. But that's great. That, like I say, the questions are always the best part of these sessions, and that last question was the best part of any of them that I've had in a long time. Thanks again.
Oh, you're very welcome. I was curious what the other instructor, what copyright issues you might have encountered. Is she still there?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Someone did just leave. It might have been her.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I do have a question I'd like to ask someone with your background.
Yeah.
Totally unrelated to copyright. Have you seen 1917?
Yes, I just actually bought the Blu-ray yesterday.
I have not yet, but I've heard a lot of discussion about the no-cut filming and so on. And I just, that's always fascinated me from the time I saw Rope.
Yes.
And I just wonder if you knew anything about that, or what you thought of that, or what you thought of 1917 in that regard.
Yeah, there is cuts. It's just very long takes.
There are always cuts.
Yeah.
But they're so well disguised that it appears
well disguised. Yeah.
one take.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I've had this conversation with a couple other filmmakers, you know, and it's been interesting listening to responses. It's a technical feat, and Roger Deakins, who was the cinematographer, he won the Oscar for this. And it is pretty amazing when I saw it in the theater. And I think that was really the strongest element in the entire film, was that you become hyper conscious that it doesn't have the rules of a normal film where you would cut to different angles. And so you find yourself marveling at the choreography of the camera and the planning, and not so much the story. And I've seen, you know, which is okay, you know, because sometimes I will tell students, you should see this just to see the choreography of this, like, or how this was put together, because it's kind of fascinating. But I've also talked to people who felt that helped them get more immersed in the experience. And
it becomes so much of a first-person experience that
yeah, it's worth seeing. I mean, it's a little bit derivative of other films that, you know, I mean, I don't know if you ever seen like Stanley Kubrick's Paths to Glory, which is also set in World War I.
Yeah, the Neville Mutiny. Yes.
Yeah. The one with Kirk Douglas. that also has those long sort of tracking shots, and is a far superior movie. But you know, it's worth seeing just because you know, it's these tools can be really fascinating in terms of how a story can be told. I think sometimes that in the case of like, I can't speak to whether can't remember the director's name, Sam Mendes, if he had intended, like sometimes I think when studios and filmmakers will make a derivative work is that they're anticipating that the bulk of their audience hasn't seen the original or doesn't know where it comes from. And so they feel, oh, well, this will look fresh because they won't know where it is from. So therefore, it'll seem innovative and it'll seem brand new. And to some extent, there's truth to that, in that there's a whole generation that you ask them, like I get students in my film class and I will ask them, how many of you have seen Jaws? And like, I'm lucky if I get maybe 1/4 or 1/5 of the class that has seen it before. So I show it every semester because one, it's a great movie, and then they can learn a lot from. But also, it's, you know, that's the merit of a class like this, is that this is oftentimes the first time they're seeing it, and so you know, so it behooves me to show it, and so that they have that exposure, and then they get curious and they might want to go and look at some other works that are similar or play with similar themes.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it's amazing. Or like I show Casablanca every year because, well, one, that's just being a good American. Okay, that's just being a good citizen of the world, and that film just grows in relevance more and more over time. It's just so beautiful and powerful, and I've never had a class not love it when they and most of the time, it maybe one person has seen it before, and it just floors me of things that we take for granted.
I know. The cultural background that we assume because of our generational position. You know?
Yeah, but you would think that certain things are just shared in the culture, and they're not. The Wizard of Oz, same kind of thing. I'll discuss the Wizard of Oz, and half the class hasn't seen it. You know, and I'll go, wow, how does that happen?
Because they don't show it once a year on broadcast TV anymore. It's not so, it's something that people can't avoid these days. When I was growing up, I must have seen it a dozen times.
Yeah.
Limited options, and that was there. You know, and you saw it again and again and again. Yeah.
And then the stuff that they are watching hardly qualifies. So, you know, the Marvel movies, they're not even movies. I mean, but they've all seen it. So I forced myself to go see these, and I want my time back, but at least I can have a discussion about, well, why are you watching this instead of like a classic and you want to do this? Or you're, you know, like, why aren't you just immersing yourself in everything? And that, you know, and that's why this has been such a perplexing question for me, because, you know, they, for whatever reason, they haven't been exposed to it, and I want to expose it to them because, you know, I've gotten such good feedback of like, I still get emails from students from, you know, years before, like, where they'll email me randomly and say, you know, I just saw this movie, and, you know, it's because your class, and now I understand what I'm looking at, and I'm just enjoying going to the movies more, and you know, and that's really great, you know, when you get those type of emails or messages, or you run into someone at a theater and they remember your class, and that class set them on fire, and not literally, of course, but you know, their mind.
Hopefully not. Yeah. But,
you know, so I just feel like I hate when I'm shortchanging somebody on the experience, you know, of giving my full effort, you know, and I mean, but I guess it's just, I feel like the legal issue is greater. And and especially if I'm teaching other artists, I feel like the ethical thing is I have to show them that we have to respect this, because one day they will be in that position. And even if no one, they're not informed that someone took their work or someone was considering it, they should care, you know, and so it's that mutual respect that, you know, establishing that in school.
Well, that's why in these sessions I do my very best to limit myself to showing my own videos.
Yeah.
For which I own the copyright automatically. There, at least, I don't have any legal or ethical issues. But I wish I could tell you I was perfect in that. I do feel that if somebody puts something up on YouTube, they're probably expecting you to watch it, but then replaying it in a situation like this is a technical violation.
Yeah.
It's one I can live with for educational purposes, given the limited distribution of these recordings and so on. But I don't know. I would care to defend it in court.
Yeah, and I use a course reader in most of my classes, and you know, I explain to students that sometimes I get informed that the class is going to happen so late, you know, and I try to explain that to administrations of, I'm using a reader and this takes months sometimes to get the clearance of an essay. And so then we're like, you know, sometimes as deep as almost halfway into the semester, we're still waiting to get a clearance just because one administration was sort of late in, you know, approving a class or whatever. And then obviously it's not malicious, but it's just like, it'd just be nice if it was way in advance so you could kind of get those clearances out of the way. Well, anyway, sorry for being so long-winded. But
No. Fascinating. Thank you very much for your insights on 1917. And I've enjoyed this conversation immensely. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Well, take care and stay safe.
All right, you too, and I'll check out some of your other meetings. I've been to several of yours already. I've been taking notes. I have a notebook that I've been keeping for the last couple of weeks, and I think this is maybe my 4th or 5th of your meetings that I have attended. So I've been a regular person in your participants list. I guess this is the first time I actually said anything. All right.
Well, thank you very much for doing so.
Okay. Well, you have a good day or evening. All right.
Indeed.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.